In a dramatic re-entry into the high-stakes world of Washington politics, billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk has once again ignited a fierce debate, unleashing a torrent of criticism against President Donald Trump's colossal Big Beautiful Bill. The renewed assault launched on Saturday saw the Tesla and SpaceX CEO brand the sweeping legislative package as utterly insane and destructive, injecting fresh volatility into a Senate already grappling with internal divisions just days before a critical July 4 deadline. Musk, leveraging his influential platform X, did not mince words regarding the 940-page Senate draft bill, asserting it will destroy millions of jobs in America and cause immense strategic harm to our country. He further elaborated on his concerns, stating the bill gives handouts to industries of the past while severely damaging industries of the future. His specific grievances include provisions that would raise taxes on various clean energy projects, such as solar, battery, geothermal, wind, and nuclear energy, while simultaneously introducing a new subsidy for coal used in steel production, a move he described as incredibly destructive to America. The tech magnate, whose Tesla empire includes significant energy storage and solar divisions, also amplified a poll suggesting the bill is politically unpopular due to its budgetary effects, noting that 40% of Republican respondents prioritize national debt reduction and a majority overall favor maintaining current spending on programs like Medicaid. Polls show that this bill is political suicide for the Republican Party, Musk declared, echoing his long-standing opposition to its expected $4 trillion increase to the national deficit. This latest broadside marks a significant resumption of a public feud that previously led to a high-profile spat between Musk and President Trump. Earlier this year, Musk, who had been appointed to lead the Trump administration's Department of Government Efficiency (DOGE), departed from the White House shortly after publicly denouncing the House's version of the bill as a disgusting abomination and urging Congress to kill the bill. At the time, he famously quipped, "I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful. I don't know if it can be both." Trump had previously countered Musk's criticisms by suggesting they stemmed from provisions aimed at stripping away electric vehicle tax credits. The initial confrontation had tangible consequences, with Tesla shares falling 14% in a single day and reports of the president threatening to evaluate government contracts for Musk's companies. While Musk later expressed regret for some of the posts and had seemingly worked to mend relations, his renewed attacks on Saturday confirm his persistent concerns regarding the bill's fiscal and strategic implications. Musk's criticisms come at a pivotal moment for Senate Republicans, who are intensely working to secure enough votes to pass the megabill by Trump's self-imposed July 4 deadline. His past opposition had already emboldened some Republican lawmakers who shared concerns over the bill's expected impact on the national debt. The current debate reveals deep fissures within the party, with some senators like North Carolina's Senator Thom Tillis citing potential cuts to Medicaid and rural hospital funding as reasons for their opposition. Fiscal conservatives, on the other hand, continue to push for even steeper cuts to address the nation's debt. Despite no longer holding an official position in Washington, Musk's immense reach, with over 200 million followers on X, ensures his pronouncements resonate widely, adding significant pressure to the already fraught legislative process. Notably, Saturday also marked Musk's 54th birthday, a day met by some Tesla takedown activists organizing anti-celebration protests in response to his political associations. As the Senate prepares for a crucial vote, Musk's renewed intervention underscores the growing influence of non-traditional political actors, particularly high-profile tech figures, in shaping legislative narratives. His consistent argument that the bill prioritizes industries of the past over industries of the future highlights a deeper ideological clash over economic priorities and the nation's long-term strategic direction. The coming days will reveal whether his forceful denouncements further fracture Republican unity or merely serve as a high-profile commentary on a bill whose fate remains uncertain, ultimately determining if Trump's Big Beautiful Bill can indeed clear its final hurdles or if it succumbs to the utterly insane and destructive label affixed by one of the world's most prominent voices, the ambitious and often controversial tenure of the Department of Government Efficiency DOGE within the Trump administration appears to be rapidly unraveling, marked by a series of dramatic reversals, high-profile departures, and a significant curtailment of its once sweeping powers. What began as an audacious experiment in slashing federal waste under the stewardship of tech billionaire Elon Musk has culminated in a chaotic period that has seen billions in federal funds stalled, government operations disrupted, and the very future of the department cast into doubt. The most immediate and impactful development came this past weekend as federal agencies regained control over the critical grants.gov website, effectively ending DOGE's contentious oversight of the process for awarding federal funds. For months, DOGE had inserted itself into the grant-making mechanism, requiring agencies to route their notice of funding opportunities (NOFOs) through a DOGE-controlled mailbox. This unprecedented move, implemented in April, granted the department the power to approve or reject these opportunities, through which public and welfare organizations access crucial government grants. The Washington Post, citing an email and senior officials, reported that federal agencies were instructed on Thursday, June 26, to cease routing requests through DOGE. An email sent to agencies confirmed, "We are pleased to inform agencies that they may resume standard notice of funding opportunity procedures on grants.gov effective immediately." This shift unlocks over $500 billion in federal funds that had been caught in limbo, with at least 30 funding opportunities reportedly stalled in DOGE's mailbox, leading to concerns about the distribution of congressionally appropriated funds and even plans to challenge a 1974 budget law by withholding mandated funds. Adding to the week's disarray, DOGE was also responsible for the termination of nearly 3,000 government phones. While specific details on the rationale behind this drastic measure were not immediately available, it aligns with DOGE's stated mission of aggressive cost-cutting and efficiency improvements. However, such widespread terminations undoubtedly caused significant operational disruptions across various government departments, raising questions about the balance between efficiency drives and functional integrity. These operational setbacks coincide with a significant exodus of key personnel from the Department of Government Efficiency, signaling a loss of direction and influence. Elon Musk himself departed the administration in May following a public and often acrimonious feud with President Donald Trump aired across social media platforms. His departure triggered a scramble among cabinet officials and senior staff to reclaim control from what many perceived as Musk's overly zealous cost-cutting team. Following Musk, his chief aide Steve Davis and Amanda Scales, an employee of Musk's artificial intelligence startup xAI, also left. Perhaps most emblematic of the department's tumultuous journey was the departure of Edward Coreystein, the 19-year-old staffer controversially nicknamed Big Balls. Coreystein, who had previously been fired from a cybersecurity firm for leaking secrets, had become a lightning rod for critics who viewed his youth and lack of experience as symbolic of DOGE's perceived recklessness in its pursuit of spending cuts. His assertion in a Fox News interview last month that there were no checks and no accountability in federal spending despite budget watchdog's counter-arguments further fueled these concerns. The department's reach extended beyond grants and telecommunications, as evidenced by its attempt to take over the U.S. Institute of Peace. This effort was recently upended by an appeals court, blocking a previous order that would have allowed the Trump administration and DOGE to proceed. This legal battle underscored the administration's aggressive posture towards independent agencies and DOGE's role in implementing that vision. Despite the apparent dismantling of DOGE's direct operational control, the White House maintains that the department still has a critical role to play. A statement from the White House asserted that DOGE will continue to facilitate the review of grants, working alongside agency secretaries to determine which grants should continue, which should be terminated, and which require further scrutiny. The statement also claimed robust controls remain in place, with DOGE personnel embedded at each agency assisting secretaries' offices in reviewing grants daily, adding that agency secretaries would continue to implement and leverage the controls initially established by DOGE to reduce waste, fraud, and abuse, retaining full agency discretion to determine the appropriate flow of funds at the project level. This suggests a pivot from direct centralized control to a more advisory or oversight role, with DOGE personnel acting as embedded auditors rather than decision makers. The saga of DOGE, from its ambitious inception under Elon Musk to its recent curtailment, serves as a potent case study in the complexities of implementing radical efficiency reforms within established government structures. While the stated goal of reducing waste, fraud, and abuse is laudable, the methods employed by DOGE, characterized by centralized control, rapid implementation, and a perceived disregard for established protocols, appear to have generated significant friction and unintended consequences. The future of the Department of Government Efficiency remains uncertain, with some of Musk's key aides having left and others transitioning to permanent government roles. What is clear is that the grand experiment has undergone a significant recalibration, prompting a necessary re-evaluation of how disruptive innovation can or should be applied to the intricate machinery of federal governance. The coming months will reveal whether DOGE can truly adapt to its new, more constrained role, or if this marks the beginning of its quiet dissolution, leaving behind a legacy of both ambitious intent and considerable controversy. In a move that has simultaneously captivated the tech world and reignited long-standing debates about the readiness of autonomous vehicles, Tesla announced this weekend that it completed its first-ever driverless delivery of a new car to a customer. On Friday, June 27, a Model Y SUV reportedly navigated itself from Tesla's Gigafactory in Austin, Texas, to a customer's apartment building, marking what CEO Elon Musk hailed on social media platform X as a historic first, with no people in the car at all and no remote operators in control at any point. The company's X account shared a video depicting the Model Y traversing public roads, including highways, residential streets, and even parking lots, before arriving for the handoff. While the achievement garnered immediate excitement among proponents of Musk's vision, the claim of it being the first fully autonomous drive with no people in the car or remotely operating the car on a public highway quickly drew scrutiny. Industry observers were quick to point out that Alphabet-owned Waymo has been offering employees fully autonomous rides on Phoenix freeways since 2024, expanding to Los Angeles and San Francisco, firmly establishing its presence in commercial robotaxi services across multiple U.S. cities. Tesla's head of AI, Ashok Eluswamy, further elaborated on the delivery, stating on X that a random customer who ordered a Model Y in the Austin area was chosen, and the vehicle delivered was exactly the same as every Model Y produced in the Tesla factory, even noting a maximum speed of 72 miles per hour on Texas highways, where the limit is typically 70 miles per hour. This latest demonstration comes amidst a complex backdrop for Tesla's autonomous driving ambitions and its broader market position. The company has faced persistent questions regarding the capabilities and safety of its full self-driving FSD system. While the Model Y owner's manual for the most advanced partially automated FSD supervised option currently available commercially still mandates drivers keep their hands on the wheel and remain ready to take over, the recent delivery video depicted a vehicle operating without any human intervention. This echoes past controversies such as the 2016 painted black autopilot video, which later depositions revealed was staged to exaggerate the car's self-driving capabilities. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration (NHTSA) is currently investigating Tesla over potential safety defects in its FSD systems, and recently sought more information regarding its robotaxi debut after incidents where vehicles reportedly violated traffic rules. Indeed, the driverless delivery closely follows the recent launch of Tesla's robotaxi pilot program in Austin, which began last weekend. This pilot, involving 10 to 20 Model Y SUVs equipped with proprietary technology, is currently limited to select invited riders, primarily influencers and analysts who often generate Tesla fan content. Crucially, these robotaxi vehicles operate with a human safety supervisor on board in the front passenger seat and are also remotely supervised by employees in an operations center, a significant difference from the fully driverless delivery demonstration. Reports from the robotaxi pilot have highlighted some early hiccups, including a Model Y struggling with a left turn, briefly entering the wrong side of the road, and hard braking twice after encountering police cars with their lights on despite no immediate threat. Furthermore, recent demonstrations of Tesla's FSD software have shown instances of failure to stop for flashing school bus lights, stop signs, and even child-sized mannequins darting into the road, raising serious safety concerns. These developments occur against the backdrop of Elon Musk's long-standing ambitious and often unfulfilled promises regarding full autonomy. Since 2016, Musk has consistently pledged that existing Tesla EVs would soon achieve full autonomy via over-the-air software updates. His master plan Part 2 envisioned a future where owners could add their cars to a Tesla shared fleet to generate income. In 2019, he famously claimed Tesla would have 1 million robot access on the road by 2020, a declaration that helped raise $2 billion from institutional investors. While the recent driverless delivery has certainly energized believers in Musk's vision, the company has yet to fully deliver on these grander promises. Beyond the technological hurdles, Tesla is grappling with significant business challenges. The company is experiencing a notable brand backlash, partly attributed to CEO Elon Musk's increasingly incendiary political rhetoric, including endorsements of Germany's far-right extremist party AfD and his association with the Trump administration. This has contributed to a decline in Tesla car sales year-over-year in key markets, particularly across Europe during the first 5 months of 2025. Adding to the pressure is intensified competition from a growing array of electric vehicle manufacturers, most notably Chinese brands like BYD, NIO, and Xiaomi, which are rapidly introducing more affordable and newer models to the global market. The market is also keenly awaiting news on a more affordable Tesla Model 2, a vehicle that has been anticipated for some time, as well as the potential impact of legislative changes like attempts to repeal the $7,500 EV tax credit. As Tesla prepares to disclose its second quarter vehicle production and delivery numbers on July 2, the industry will be watching closely to see how these multifaceted pressures are impacting the company's bottom line. The successful driverless delivery, while impressive in isolation, therefore serves as a potent symbol of Tesla's current duality, a company pushing the boundaries of automotive technology while simultaneously navigating a complex web of regulatory scrutiny, unfulfilled promises, fierce competition, and a polarizing public image. The path to widespread, truly autonomous mobility remains fraught with technical and ethical challenges, and for Tesla, the journey is further complicated by factors far beyond the vehicle's onboard sensors and software. In a week that perfectly encapsulates the ambitious yet often turbulent trajectory of private space exploration, Elon Musk's SpaceX has found itself at the nexus of both unprecedented success and significant international controversy. While the company celebrated a remarkable double-header of successful Falcon 9 rocket launches, further expanding its sprawling Starlink satellite constellation, it simultaneously faced intense scrutiny and potential legal action from Mexico over debris from a recent Starship explosion that has allegedly wreaked environmental havoc south of the border. This duality underscores the complex challenges and profound impacts of pushing the boundaries of aerospace technology at an accelerating pace. The most pressing concern emanates from Mexico, where the fallout from a Starship rocket disintegration in June has triggered a diplomatic and environmental outcry. The incident, which occurred during a test firing fueling, saw no human injuries but rained down detritus on the beaches of Tamaulipas, a northern Mexican state directly across the border from SpaceX's Starbase facility in South Texas. Mexican environmental activists, notably Canibio Global AC, have presented video evidence and alarming reports of widespread marine life die-offs, including fish, dolphins, and sea turtles, with residents of Matamoros reporting finding large pieces of metal and entire canisters on local beaches. These claims directly contradict a statement from SpaceX on its social media platform X, which asserted no hazards to the surrounding area and no chemical, biological, or toxicological risks from Starship materials. The company did, however, request assistance from the Mexican government for debris recovery, offering resources and help with cleanup. This environmental alarm has escalated to the highest levels of Mexican government. President Claudia Sheinbaum, whose leftist party commands significant influence, is actively considering legal action against SpaceX. Speaking at a news conference, Ms. Scheinbaum stated, "We are reviewing everything related to the launching of rockets that are very close to our border," adding that if SpaceX violated any international laws, we will file any necessary claims. Her remarks highlight a growing sentiment among scientists, regional officials, and activists who are increasingly vocal about the ecological footprint of SpaceX's operations on Mexican ecosystems. Governor Americo Villarreal Anaya of Tamaulipas further emphasized the official inquiry, noting that authorities are examining whether the internationally required distances are being respected in order to have these types of facilities so that there is no risk to urban centers. The incident has also fueled extensive discussion on Mexican social media, with many users pointing to the perceived power imbalance between Mexico, the United States, and the world's richest man, Elon Musk, who holds ambitious plans for Mars colonization and has close ties to political figures. Maria Elena Alvarez Villa-Rosas is a molecular genetics professor at the National Autonomous University of Mexico, captured the prevailing sentiment, questioning in a social media post, "How much longer will the greed of a few be allowed to marginalize the many and put life on our planet at risk or in peril of destruction?" This incident is not isolated, as another Starship explosion in March previously disrupted air traffic across several U.S. states, and the company recently received U.S. authorization to increase its annual Starship launches from Starbase from 5 to 25. Yet even as the diplomatic fallout brewed, SpaceX's routine operations continued their relentless pace, demonstrating the company's unparalleled launch cadence. On Saturday, June 28, 2025, SpaceX executed a remarkable double-header, successfully launching two Falcon 9 rockets from opposite coasts of the United States. The first lifted off from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida at 12:26 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, carrying 27 Starlink satellites. Later the same day at 1:13 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, a second Falcon 9 launched from Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California, deploying another 26 Starlink V2 mini satellites. These missions pushed the total number of active Starlink units in low Earth orbit to over 7,900, contributing to a constellation now nearly 8,000 strong. Both first-stage boosters B-1092 and B-1088 successfully completed their respective missions, landing autonomously on drone ships in the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. This marked the fifth flight for booster B-1092 and an impressive eighth flight for B-1088, underscoring SpaceX's commitment to reusability, which has revolutionized the economics of spaceflight. The California launch in particular offered a potential spectacle for skygazers across Arizona, with the Falcon 9's ascent possibly visible from locations like Dobbins Lookout in Phoenix and the Superstition Mountains despite the daytime launch. These Starlink satellites, operating at a lower altitude of approximately 341 miles compared to traditional geostationary satellites, significantly reduce latency, enhancing performance for high-demand internet activities like streaming, online gaming, and video calls. These recent launches also follow other successful Falcon 9 missions in June, including the Transporter 14 rideshare mission, which delivered 70 payloads for various customers, including capsules containing human remains for a cosmic memorial service. The juxtaposed narratives of a Starship explosion causing international friction and the routine successful deployment of Starlink satellites on Falcon 9 rockets paint a vivid picture of SpaceX's current standing. It highlights the company's undeniable prowess in achieving frequent, cost-effective access to space, a capability that is rapidly reshaping global connectivity and space commerce. However, it also brings into sharp focus the escalating environmental and geopolitical responsibilities that accompany such aggressive technological expansion. As SpaceX continues to push for higher launch rates and larger rockets like Starship, the demand for robust international regulations, transparent environmental impact assessments, and clear mechanisms for accountability will undoubtedly intensify. The current standoff with Mexico serves as a potent reminder that the race to space, while exhilarating, must also navigate the delicate balance of earthly concerns, ensuring that the pursuit of the stars does not come at the irreparable expense of our planet or international cooperation. The path forward will likely involve a continuous negotiation between innovation and regulation as the world grapples with the full implications of a rapidly privatizing space frontier. In a landscape where technology and politics increasingly intertwine, few figures command attention quite like Elon Musk. The billionaire entrepreneur, known for his ventures in electric vehicles and space exploration, has once again positioned himself at the nexus of public debate, unleashing a torrent of criticism against a major legislative package just hours before a pivotal Senate vote, while simultaneously implementing controversial changes to his social media platform X. The latest flashpoint centers on President Donald Trump's megabill, a legislative package that has drawn Musk's fervent ire. On June 28, 2025, less than an hour before the Senate was poised to begin debate on the bill, Musk took to X, his social media platform, to denounce it as utterly insane and destructive. Addressing his 220 million followers, he asserted the latest Senate draft bill will destroy millions of jobs in America and cause immense strategic harm to our country. He further characterized the bill as giving handouts to industries of the past while severely damaging industries of the future. A statement that resonates with his own focus on cutting-edge technologies. In a subsequent post, Musk upped the ante, declaring that polls show that this bill is political suicide for the Republican Party. This isn't his first skirmish with the administration. Musk, who previously served as Trump's advisor on cutting government spending and headed the Advisory Department of Government Efficiency, had notably quieted his criticism following his departure from government on May 30. However, this recent outburst marks a significant return to the public fray, reminiscent of his earlier condemnation of the legislation as a disgusting abomination for its perceived failure to adequately curb government spending. The megabill itself is a contentious piece of legislation proposing to raise the federal government's borrowing authority by an unprecedented $5 trillion and extending Trump's 2017 tax cuts, which alone account for $3.8 trillion. Critics, including the nonprofit Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, have warned that the bill could balloon the national debt by as much as $4.5 trillion over the next decade. Musk's past efforts to achieve $1 trillion in federal savings during his government tenure ultimately fell short, though his initiatives did lead to over 216,000 federal employee and contractor layoffs, a staggering 624% increase compared to the first quarter of 2024. The renewed public spat has also seen President Trump retaliate, attributing Musk's criticism to the administration ending electric vehicle subsidies and rejecting Musk's preferred candidate for NASA chief. Trump, via a Truth Social post, claimed Elon was wearing thin. "I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do. And he just went crazy." This public exchange underscores the deeply personal and often volatile nature of the relationship between two of America's most prominent and unconventional figures. Parallel to this high-stakes political drama, Musk continues to reshape the digital public square he now controls. Just 2 days prior to his broadside against the megabill on June 26, Musk announced a significant policy change for X: the prohibition of hashtags on advertisements. Starting tomorrow, Friday, the aesthetic nightmare that is hashtags will be banned from ads on X, he declared, reiterating his long-standing personal aversion to the ubiquitous metadata tags, which he has previously called ugly and unnecessary given the platform's evolved system. This move, however, appears to contradict the very advice offered by Grok, X's artificial intelligence chatbot, which, when queried by a user, affirmed that hashtags remain useful for regular posts, boosting visibility and engagement. Grok explicitly stated, while Elon Musk has criticized hashtags, data supports their effectiveness for regular posts. This internal dissonance highlights Musk's often idiosyncratic approach to product development, where personal preference can seemingly override data-driven recommendations, a pattern observed in his broader overhaul of X since acquiring it in 2022, which has included significant changes to content moderation and algorithm adjustments. Elon Musk's dual roles as a tech titan and a highly vocal political commentator place him in a unique and often controversial position. His willingness to leverage his vast social media following to influence legislative outcomes, coupled with his hands-on, sometimes autocratic management of a global communication platform, creates a dynamic that is constantly under scrutiny. The ongoing feud with the former president, the legislative battles, and the continuous evolution of X all reflect Musk's profound impact on technology business and political discourse. As the Senate prepares for its critical vote and X continues its transformation under his singular vision, the world watches to see how these converging forces will shape both the immediate future of policy and the long-term trajectory of digital communication. The boundary between human thought and digital interaction continues to blur at an astonishing pace, with the latest reports indicating significant strides in the field of brain-computer interfaces (BCIs). Elon Musk's Neuralink has once again captured headlines, confirming that a total of 7 individuals have now received the company's pioneering N1 brain implant. This milestone, reported by MSN and OpenTools, underscores the accelerating ambition to transform how humans interact with technology, particularly for those with severe neurological conditions. Neuralink's N1 chip is designed with a profound purpose: to empower patients suffering from debilitating conditions such as ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or severe spinal cord injuries. The promise is nothing short of revolutionary, enabling users to control computers, navigate mobile devices, type, browse the web, and even engage in games using thought alone. This high-fidelity control stems from the N1's deeply invasive nature, which involves a surgical procedure to drill into the skull and embed electrodes directly into the brain tissue. While this approach yields exceptionally precise brain signals, offering unparalleled control, it inherently carries notable surgical risks and potential long-term health concerns, a trade-off that has been a focal point of ongoing discussion within the medical and tech communities. However, the BCI landscape is far from a one-horse race. While Neuralink garners significant global attention, formidable competition is emerging, particularly from China, which is strategically advancing less invasive alternatives. Swarajyomag highlighted China's quiet but significant progress, pointing to a strategic divergence in methodology. The Chinese Institute for Brain Research and New Cyber Neurotech, for instance, has developed Beinow-1, a semi-invasive chip that critically sits atop the brain rather than penetrating its delicate tissue. While this approach might result in slightly reduced signal quality compared to Neuralink's deep tissue implantation, the significant reduction in the risk of brain injury and surgical complications positions Beinow-1 as a potentially safer and more scalable solution. Initial trials have shown promising results, with paralyzed patients successfully using Beinow-1 to control robotic limbs and interact with computers. The ambition is clear: 13 patients are expected to receive the Beinow-1 implant by the end of 2025. A pace that could see China's human trials potentially outstrip Neuralink's within the year. Further bolstering China's presence, Tsinghua University has introduced NEO, a wireless BCI that is implanted just beneath the skull but crucially above the brain's surface. This innovation promises battery-free long-term use with minimal tissue disruption, addressing key concerns around device longevity and patient comfort. Beyond the US-China dynamic, other players are also making significant headway. US-based BCI company Synchron, backed by prominent investors like Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, currently leads globally in the sheer number of human trials, with 10 patients already implanted, 6 in the US and 4 in Australia. Their focus also leans towards less invasive techniques, often utilizing a stent-like device inserted into a blood vessel in the brain. The burgeoning competition underscores a critical strategic consideration: the balance between signal fidelity and patient safety/scalability. Neuralink's aggressive high-fidelity approach aims for maximum functional restoration, pushing the boundaries of what's possible in direct neural control. In contrast, Chinese research appears to prioritize a broader, more accessible path to mind-controlled technology, emphasizing reduced surgical risks and wider adoption. This global race is not merely about technological supremacy, it's about defining the future of neuromedicine, addressing profound ethical questions and ultimately delivering practical, life-changing solutions to those in need. As Elon Musk continues to tease future breakthroughs, the diverse approaches from global innovators suggest a future where a spectrum of BCI solutions tailored to varying patient needs and risk tolerances will likely emerge, promising an unprecedented era of human-AI synergy in healthcare and beyond.